Hi, it's me. Are you ready? You sure? You ready for anything? Perfect. Pay attention now. Here we go.
Fellow citizens, listen. We've had 50 years of diverse rock and roll art. From all sides. Now we live in an artificial era where old folks are burned out and young folks don't yet know better. Fact, the only remedy for mediocrity and closed minds is variety. Take an extra strength. Oh, come on. Look, if you don't appreciate multiple facets of life and music, you should avoid this viewpoint. But our Stevie Moore remains the best all-around example of pro and con, pro and amateur, pro and pre. It's the new thing to gladly embrace the entire spectrum of musical art, smart and dumb, and to preach the gospel of stylistic variety. Everything has its place, in small doses for short attention spans, like yours.
And we get together and record it at home, you know.
Well, listen, I'm not saying this to make you feel good or because you're my relation or whatever, but you know, I've always felt this right from the beginning, and it was only confirmed when I started to get into that tape the other day. As sick as I was, man, I just have a feeling, and I really think it is an unbiased thing. It has nothing to do with you being related or anything else. That there's really genius there, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean that, man. I want you to know that.
Great. Okay, great. I do. I really do.
Feel that.
I really do, Harry, you know.
Okay, well.
It's a heavy thing coming from Nashville, too, you know, because it's a little tiny nucleus here, and the rest of the town is not part of us at all, really.
I am your first commonplace Southern original composer. I can feel 16 or 36, incidentally. I want to befriend all of my rock heroes. I shall make some good records. See, I can't see it. I shall make some great records if you encourage me enough. I believe I'm making you an offer here. I come to your town in peaceful artistic form with great expectations. I must work to fit in, I'm sure.
Now, you don't have like a Brooklyn accent or a Queens accent. I don't believe so.
No, I'm from Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville. Now, oh, Nashville! One of our most populous states.
What?
Yeah.
Right. The big shoe manufacturer
Really?
in Nashville.
For people who are not familiar with R. Stevie Moore, where should we start?
Capsule. Born and raised 1952. Guitar mic on? Just checking.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah.
Nice.
Most definitely on.
Showbud, Gibson, Fender-esque kind of thing. Grew up in the Nashville area. My father was a musician, a very highly praised musician. Bassist Bob Moore, legendary country upright fiddle player who was on many Nashville hits in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I'm so sick of telling this story, especially to people that have never heard it. Wait, what does that mean? I was a rock and roll child, 60s flower hippie, and listened to Beatles, Beach Boys, Zappa, you know the list, and did my own music while my father was trying to get me to follow in his footsteps, doing honky tonk, boom, 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 and on and on and on. So I went into my own ears at home and became suddenly the father of home recording way back in '72, using reel-to-reel tape decks. And what else do you want to know?
Now, you specialize in home recording, which means, I got my mic. Tell us what that means. You record in the privacy of your own home. Is that correct?
That's right.
Now, how do you do that? Give us a little history of. I mean, did you start out doing that as a joke, thinking that was funny?
No. It's easy.
High art form?
Very high art form. Well, besides all of that, it's I'm not prepared to answer that question.
Yeah. No?
No, sure I am.
R. Stevie Moore, prolific composer and prolific recorder of his compositions. Some call him the godfather of home taping, back when taping was the way to do it.
I've never been a big gearhead or never been a technical virtuoso.
But you've had to become your own engineer, right?
That's true, right.
But you always sort of did.
It was all lo-fi gear, though. I mean, like I said, I wasn't running out and, upgrading constantly, even as a kid with guitars.
Yeah.
It was always real, homemade, expressly homemade. And I didn't realize that I was really creating something that was going to be important and
going to be almost a genre in itself.
Yeah, and now it's almost a common thing that everybody has their laptops.
Yeah.
A lot of rock bands today make their own CDs and sell them on the internet. This was the guy who, back even before CDs were invented, pretty much invented that whole idea of making an entire album in your own studio and then just selling it by a little mailing list to the true believers in what good pop music writing is all about, even if the major labels don't have a single idea in their head about what it really should be.
Dear Stevie, I have absolutely no idea how or if you're ever going to read this, but I figured I'd take a shot. I mean, after all the great music you've given all your fans, I think I owe it to you to tell you how much we do really appreciate your stuff. It's always just a little different, but at the same time, you can always tell it's you. You're the greatest.
What is it? You got Fabio singing, you got Jerry Lewis singing, no William Shatner singing?
I got R. Stevie Moore, who hopefully in the future you'll do a program on this, because this guy is the true genius. He is the DIY champion of America.
And I consider him, this is just me speaking personally, the father of DIY indie rock.
That's what you consider him?
Yeah, what is DIY?
What a coincidence.
What does that mean?
Nobody tell Andy what DIY means.
I have no clue what DIY means.
Do it your own self.
R. Stevie Moore has been making music since the 1970s, pretty much non-stop, because the music flows non-stop from Stevie's brain.
Everything I've recorded is available, and I have 109 releases.
109? I think that's up 6 since last time I spoke to you.
Right,
that was just about 15 minutes ago.
I was trying to think of something to ask you that might not be covered by anybody else. There's a song called Dates by R. Stevie Moore.
Oh, yeah.
That you provided basically the instrumental tracking and backing vocals on.
Well, Stevie is a great, and you should really, we should big up Stevie here on this show, because he's worthy of attention, is Steve. And again, he's a guy completely outside the normal, music industry. He's the man who records all his records at home on a tape recorder. What comes out of that tape recorder, you never know what's going to come out of it. It might be, something that you could play on the radio, or it might be something the sound of, I don't know, an engineer's test signal, or something badly recorded with static and God knows what. You just never know what Stevie's going to bring you next.
And
It
is good. I'm always recording. I have a diary of sound. See, aren't you glad we're rolling tape? It doesn't matter. It captures stuff. And that's been part of my whole thing for years. That's what I want to do. The tapes are so easy to make. That's what's getting so strange about it. It's too easy for me to write songs and make silly tapes, and just experiment with different sounds, different stuff.
You're getting so good at it, see, you don't have technical problems.
Yeah.
I mean, you're able to broaden your sound and all your variations. I mean, your tapes are filled.
You know about our Stevie Moore? This is this cat. He's been making records, homemade records in his pad since late 60s. He's made over 400 records. Wow. All homespun. In 60s.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Steve, how many songs have you written and recorded?
47,921.
That can't.
And a half.
I think it's 400 albums, right?
That's right. Sorry,
Wait,
multiply.
that can't be true.
It really is. I mean, anything that can be a song, and is.
Wish I had a cigarette. I sure could use a smoke. But I'm stuck alone, the car is dead, and I'm already broke. I wish I had a cotton, or even just a pack, or even just a single one, so I could hit the sack.
Do you really write? Are you really that prolific? How many songs have you written in the last week? 2.
So 2 a week, your average.
Now, yeah. It's called.
It's still over 100.
Senility.
Okay. But at your peak, how many were you writing?
30.
30 a week.
30 a week. And recording.
And do they all have distinctive and singular melody?
Everyone is so different. Stylistically.
If Andy, you would actually consider them songs. They have melodies and rhythms and everything.
They call me a craftsman.
And of course, that's part of my music too, as far as the variety. I can't stress that enough, to where it's one thing to be lo-fi or DIY and all that, but there's nothing better than, to me, and that's how I've always felt, listening to music, radio, whatever, a variety. And there's nothing worse than getting stuck in ruts. And all of my music is always like a mixtape, a radio show.